truly been a while since I've had me some freaking coffee. Screw it. A rainy day like this, I genuinely don't care. Give me some nutmeg too. Jeez. Hi, hello, this your boy Jermain. And I'm just here to talk. Do you know about ceramics? Do you know how to go map it? Or do you know how to track it? What are you attracting? A new reality. So you can go sow your seeds. So you can get what you need. It's time to go and bless my baby. It's time to go and get on track. It's time to go and look beyond the black. It's time to go and look forward towards the life that you know is coming for you. You need all the glass you need to. So go ahead and get one. All the things that you want. Use this for your microphone too. Yeah. The other one, yeah, it works, but it's too freaking. It's too big, and it requires a pipe. Along with the other ones. Difficult to clean out if I need to clean it out. At least that one's smaller. You know what I'm saying? Smaller, more effective. At least it can create more steam. But it doesn't have that nozzling like effect unless I put a lid on it. If I even want a lid on it, you know? You know what? Put you here. Sometimes when you just don't feel like it, you just gotta take a little pause. That's all you need is just a little pause. That pause can do way more than you think. Especially for people just going through the motion of every day. Stressing out over nothing for no reason at all. The best thing for you to do so that you don't crash out is to just pause. And breathe. It's the only power that we really do have. When everything tries to crash, at least you're the one with a cool level head. You know? Rather crash cool than be under stress crashing, you feel what I'm saying? And that's not to say that your feelings ain't valid. But what that means is don't use it to explain why you are behaving in a certain type of way, shape, form, or fashion. Y'all go through the motions every day. Just try our best to be a little kinder to each other, you know? It ain't easy, but it ain't impossible either. But yeah. It's freaking talking about ceramics too. Ceramics, plastic, and glass. The most abundant things that people usually throw away and throw out. For starters, unless you need the space, this, that, and the third, many people truly and genuinely don't have no reason to throw out glass. I'm gonna be honest with you. Especially for its multi-use case. Like, that is free Tupperware, if I'm being honest. And the only reason that many people just aren't using it is because of the first reason I mentioned, as well as people sticking to the status quo of how your dishes and this, that, and the third is supposed to look. Bro, anything that you have on you can be used. Like, trust me, like, save that money, even as a freaking trillionaire. And that's a behavior that I want to, like, carry with me. Not that poor behavior of, oh, I gotta go keep this because it's free. It's more like keeping it because it's practical. Like, literally, jars are practical. Hold on. A little bitter. Add more real. Keeping jars are actually practical. Right? Because at the very least, they can carry every single thing that you need. Plastic. That one's a little gray area. I love plastic for the way that you can shape things. You feel what I'm saying? But if we're talking about its environmental impact, that's an absolutely nah. I don't like that. All the microplastics that end up in nature, in the human body, in the testes of men. Oh, seriously, look that up. All of that and then some. Hey, I would really want something that you can shape like plastic, but is safer for the environment. You want to know what I just thought about? Why is it that ceramics, right, they don't break down easy, and yet people threw them on the ground, or you had ancient civilizations just throw them on the ground and have them freaking preserved? It's not like they were like, okay, I'm gonna throw this and this is gonna be preserved for years and years on end. Yeah, it's more like something devastating happened, or they had to leave that behind, or they left it for a loved one, this, that, and the third, and they just never came for it. Hold on. There we are. And they came with this, that, and the third. Which is so weird, right? Because a person really could argue with how glass, ceramics, and plastics are the same way. In terms of it takes a while, if not at all, for this to be broken down and back into nature. You feel what I'm saying? Has anybody ever thought about that? Like, why is it that glass and ceramics are the only thing? Who would even know? Who would even know? Like, hold on. If theoretically you wanted to hide some ancient tech, dang, I know this is gonna get out, but screw it. If I was a person and I wanted to hide some ancient tech and I wanted it to last for generations to come, what's the one thing that nature kept showing us time and time and time and time and time again? That's right, different crystalline structures, specifically these. This is literally the best thing. Like, if you were to have a freaking... Ooh. Nobody would even know. Like, who would even know? Like, you wouldn't even know how it would even look. No, I gotta get this out now, because how would you even know how it looks? Because to be fair, ceramics are extremely hard. You can camouflage them. Thermal resistance, so they can be perfect for engines. And on top of all that... Oh, sorry, Jermain. On top of all that, you can shape them into anything that you want. Just like plastic, it takes a long time because the process of heating it, right, getting it heated up first near the freaking fire, then putting it on top or inside of the fire, and then putting out the fire, burying it, and then boom, there your ceramic. And even still, fact of the matter is this: you can shape ceramics. If you know how to shape them, you can shape them into any freaking shape that you want. Do you not think these ancient civilizations would have known how to shape ceramics? Like, really put that through your freaking head right now. Like, do you not realize that they would have known how to leverage that? They wouldn't have just gone for something like plastic or glass, even though they had glass, or probably something similar to plastic. But if we are talking about the best case scenario and best chances of us succeeding by using something out of nature directly that is going to be able to blast us off, ceramics are not only the most practical and long-lasting things that nature has shown us via the history of our ancestors, it might actually be the foundation of how we see so many things in our freaking life. Instead of just relying on freaking metal. Like, what if we're supposed to use all this freaking metal for something else? And everything here is just supposed to be ceramic. Now, granted, there are different types of ceramics. Some can be bent. Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Acrylic is ceramic too. At least I think. Even steel. Yeah. It is. Acrylic is ceramic too. And there are some flexible acrylics. Shoot, there are some flexible freaking glass right now. And you're telling me you can't create a chassis that is thin, lightweight, that can be perfect for a car, that won't shock you if you were utilizing some sort of quote unquote ancient technology, energy, basically electrostatics. Like, if you were to have an entire vehicle coated in electrostatic energy, wouldn't the best case scenario be for you to use a ceramic? And just in case it rains, all you have is just a grounding path underneath. Now, this one is a stretch, because I don't know how far we can go with this, but your body is ground too. It acts as ground too. At least certain ceramics. Case in the freaking point. There are so many ways to shape these freaking ceramics. And you're telling me that they wouldn't hide ancient technology. Why would they hide it? The best form of hiding something is having it in plain sight. And only those who know how to tap in, utilize, or put it together, literally. To put it simply, the puzzle pieces are physically out there. Not literally, but physically. Like, take these, boom, strike up a specific spot, and period. The only thing about it, it requires extensive knowledge of how it's supposed to be used. That's why no billionaire has ever even tapped into tech like this. That's why these freaking secret societies haven't tapped into energy like this. How can they? It requires you to actually know and understand instead of you wasting. You're coming with that waste mindset. When you come with a mindset that's like, everything I get, I use, now you start to see how everything goes back to nature. So in order for me to live a lifestyle that I would actually love, I want to buy packaging that's more eco-friendly. Because let's be honest, it's human nature to generate so much freaking waste. But I can't help but realize how things like glass and ceramic mugs and water jugs, bars, can actually be useful. Heck, I made a freaking scrub pad out of extra wires because I realized that, oh yeah, they're made of the same freaking gauge. I might as well just strand them like this is then the third, and boom, I got a scrubber here. Period. Simple as that. And likewise, when you have packaging that the food or your alcohol or what's another one? Your toiletries, your gardening supplies, and etc. When you have everything, like, you're not buying just the product, you're buying the packaging too. Do y'all not realize that y'all are already gaining more value as is? Like, you're not just buying the product. If you were buying the product of, say, for example, soup, you would have just had water or water, salt, chicken broth, bit of cayenne pepper, garlic, etc., just floating in midair. And since we don't have technology for that yet, we have to utilize packaging, the best and freest way of getting things to us. Like, in front of, like, this single bottle can be used to hold copper sulfate. This can be a container for copper sulfate when I get done with everything that's inside of here. Or it can be used as a resonator when I get done with it. There's no right or wrong way of using it. Period. And so when we go back out in this freaking world, me personally, I don't think I want to just buy anything right now. Because even though I could just get, for example, beans on toast, I want to get beans on toast inside of a paper bag instead of plastic. Because I know that if I throw that paper bag or bury it inside of nature, I know that that paper is going to be able to deconstruct itself down back into a mushy like pulp and be fed back into the earth so that the soil can grow better. Period. On the dot. On the dot. Even something like freaking tech. The only reason we have e-waste is because of the fact that none of the metals can break down in nature naturally without oxidation. Every time you throw iron or a cast iron into freaking nature, it turns into rust and you have that area filled with rust. You throw copper into nature, copper oxide, and now that area is blue to greenish. I want to say aluminum oxide when you throw aluminum there, but that aluminum oxide layer coats the outside of said aluminum. So it stops itself from leaching in any longer. Unless agitated or just naturally, case in the freaking point. Metals leach when they are turned into oxides. So why would we do that to nature, especially if it ain't helping nature? Best case scenario, we turn to what do work. Because no matter what, we've always had ways of gaining the same thing but just better in different forms. Not by copying what metal does, but by mimicking it. Okay, we got 19 minutes on here. All right, we can get one more segment out. And here is another thing that I figured out yesterday. Copying and mimicking are two different things. When you copy somebody, you're doing the same exact thing to get the same result. And this usually doesn't work because the way you do it or the way that this person do it is so different to the point where you end up with two different things, even though you follow the same exact steps. You may have followed the same exact steps, but were you using copper bowls instead of freaking plastic? Or were you using freaking glass instead of stainless steel to cook? Whereas if you mimic, now all of a sudden you're able to get the same exact thing, not because you followed the steps, but because you understood that you wanted the result. When you recognize what that result is, the steps are irrelevant. My favorite one is always the freaking pecan pie analogy. You take corn syrup, brown sugar, pecans, eggs, and salt to make like a custard to put inside of a pie crust. That's one way. And my favorite way, dates, underrated. This one, hands down, underrated. Dates, pecans, salt. And just boil those dates down, period. Hands down, on that. Tastes exactly like pecan pie. Put that in the pie crust and boom, it's just gonna solidify. Or just add freaking flour in it just so that it can gelatinize. Both of them taste and could look the same if you present them like that. However, their ingredients are freaking different. But because you realized you wanted to taste the flavor and the look, you knew how to design it based on what you had and based on what you wanted and based on your dietary needs. Period. On the dot. Which is why you have so many people that are able to make burgers, but will not call them, you know, what's the best way of saying this? It's like vegan pulled pork. Instead of saying vegan pulled pork, you're saying barbecue jackfruit. Both of them have the same fibrous texture. But because this one is made of jackfruit and you season it just right so that it tastes exactly like pulled pork, now you got the effect of it while being healthy. On the dot. And I'm going to leave that by saying this. You'll never get anywhere in the world if you're always trying to copy. But by mimicking, you'll always get exactly what you want. Because once you're able to get exactly what you want, you can take nothing and turn it into something. I'm going to leave that at that. That's a little trick, though. And let's see. You can do a little camera trick like that. Positioning is the best way of creating magic. Alright, y'all. Peace out. I love and like I'm out.